But the Martha's staring didn't let him. Without saying it all, he told her the approximate truth, not forgetting that the jobs he had to do for the government in his professional beginnings weren't as pleasant as being a bodyguard. Oriol grew up in a very important family of the world. It was therefore almost obvious he could end being one of them. Therefore increased by the fascination for weapons aroused in a young and immature Oriol. Since he lived together with them, he didn't get shocked easily, what the rest saw as an outstanding courage. He was as afraid as the rest. He ran in the runaways like the rest. And he always made sure he was wearing the bulletproof vest like the rest. But his coldness implied that he didn't feel. At first, he thought the attentions he received, the privileges he enjoyed, were owed to his father's good position inside the world. So his father made him thought. However, his father's position wasn't so good. Either they didn't respect him as much to influence his son's career. Oriol's father talked a lot, too much actually. The Yellow War chief kept him busy, asking him to do unimportant tasks disguised as secret missions. The man applied himself, and if he let the cat out of the bag, didn't matter. Oriol had taken part in the first Yellow government cleaning campaign, the most violent of all. He didn't feel anything the first time he killed a person. It was the first alarm sign. He expected to feel euphoria. He expected to sleep with the relief of the done duty. But he didn't feel anything. He didn't look the victim in the eyes. He didn't consider him worthy of that. He was one of the former government's leadership, one of those that must be just eliminated, although there were much worse than him, that had solved the problem changing colors, much that set the world on to eliminate him. He won medals by time and lack of emotion, but in his inner the alarm sign sounded stronger and stronger, until it made him look in the eyes of one of his victims. He didn't take pity on her for being a woman. He had been doing his job time enough not to go by the easy tears. He took pity because he didn't see in the woman's resignation what they told he had to see. And keeping the silence, the discretion, the indifference, he studied the way to move away from the government without turning into its victim. He didn't say he was burnt out, nor that he needed a rest, nor some days off. He only mentioned that he had noticed a drop in action in the last months and that he started to need something to discharge adrenaline. The chief understood it. He felt the same since he was a chief. He earned more money, of course, but the lack of action sometimes moved him about. "Maybe we can assign you to a more active corps," his chief told him. Oriol hoped there wasn't a secret delivery clean service corps, or one that kidnapped children at the nursery, or tortured prisoners in some place where there were not supposed to be any. Luckily for him, there wasn't. The first stage was so cruel that there wasn't people left to make them such things. They transferred him to the frontier patrol. If there was some action left, it must be there. There wasn't. Oriol breathed with relief. He had to go out of the city, escorting the sendings or bringing the supplies. One of that travels served to take Martha's father far away. Oriol didn't respect him. He knew his story, his abandoned wife and kid. He saw his happiness, his unconsciousness, which made him sick. At the end of the trip, he even got to inspire him some compassion. At least he had the intelligence to recognize the importance of the things. That was not the last time he saw him. Periodically, he visited him with documents he must sign until the girl reached the age of majority. Oriol didn't know what the documents said, never dared read them. He imagined that they told the father about the kid. Who knows? His face didn't change whatever he read. In the last month, he didn't even read them. He only signed them down. Afterwards, as a bodyguard, he had the chance of seeing him some other time, but not as an official messenger of the government as before. Just for personal affairs of the leaders, affairs that did no more than open his eyes. In the occasions he was abroad, he compulsorily had to see people beyond the government, with the supposed resistance. He didn't see that they lived better in the city. On the contrary, he felt the injustice of the necessity by a greedy government.